What's up, guys? We're Morbid Curiosities, bringing you another episode. I'm Nicholas Ewers, and with me is the lightweight champion of the world, the morbid mistress of mayhem herself.
Mercedes Martinez. And let's see how many times
Woo-hoo!
I hit my microphone this episode. I am so embarrassed about that last time.
Yeah, we were really fumbling, and I before we started recording, I took my mic apart and put it back together. I'm like, I can't have it like fumbling because before I sat down to record, I bumped it and got knocked over, and I was like, damn it, it's like so sensitive for some reason. Or
Yeah,
we're just more
and
clumsy.
and that was the one episode I feel as if we were really trying to we were really trying to go in order, and I feel like that was throwing me off a little bit too. So I was trying to stay focused and composed. And then if I actually got really hyped up about something, I hit my microphone. So maybe that'll happen today. Who knows? Hopefully not,
Yeah, we could just be the podcast that's known for damaging our equipment in the middle of recording.
though. That's probably what we will be known as.
It'll say that in our description.
Exactly. That and the fact that Mercedes cannot talk and she slurs her words every single episode.
Oh, dude, we both do. We're we're getting together. We'll just tell them we were like drunk while we're recording or something.
I mean, the thing is, though, when you talk, you at least have a very extensive vocabulary, I would say. Me, I talk like a 12-year-old, less than that, younger than that, I mean. So even a lot of times when you're talking, I'm just thinking, wow, I never learned that in school or in a book. I need to read more.
If it makes you feel any, I didn't like really start working on my vocabulary until I was an adult. I was terrible at vocabulary when I was in school. I was also in like reading like special reading classes. They didn't realize that I was dyslexic. They thought I was just a broken kid. They were like, "We don't know what to do with him, ma'am. Your kid's broken." But
Damn.
yeah, and I was really bad at reading in class and really bad at public speaking, and I just worked on it and worked on it because I wanted to just get better at it. And I still get the jitters. I still get really self-conscious. Like if people point out how low or like quiet I am, it makes me like go lean more in that direction just because I get like insecure. But I had to like, really work on it. It wasn't something the schools don't teach you how to be confident or really
They
like
really
how to
don't.
retain this shit. And if people have anything to say about our voices or the way we speak, you can go shove it. I don't want to hear it.
Or rate us 5 stars.
Yeah. If you rate us 5 stars, then you can have an opinion on our voices.
Yes, rate us 5 stars. Follow us on Instagram too.
Yeah. Otherwise, get out of here. We don't want it.
Yeah.
Anyway, today, guys, lately we've been talking about the Chucky movies. We're finally here at the end of our main storyline, Chucky movies. It's a big day for us. Next week, we still have, probably a stinker, but, we'll make the most of it. But this it's kind of exciting. It's the end of like the Chucky that Don Mancini is like involved in, at least like cinematically. I don't know if I said it out loud, but Cult of Chucky is the movie we're going to be talking about. Spoilers ahead for this movie. If you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. You might as well if you're here, right? Like you come this far, you might as well watch this one. It's on Netflix. I had no idea. I think it might have been a direct to Netflix release. I'm not too sure. It's been on there forever though.
Yeah, I think Curse and Cult were both direct to video.
Oh, I didn't know that until like yesterday, but I've been watching them from this Blu-ray box set I got, the 7 movie collection. I was thinking about buying some of them on 4K individually, but they're too expensive. The box set was like $35 at Walmart, but putting
Ooh.
in the actual Blu-ray has been so nice. The last two, Curse and Cult, have trailers mostly for like Danny Trejo movies, but they're all like movies I'd never heard of. like just like really obscure Universal movies. So it's been pretty cool seeing the extra features, and it really takes me back. I haven't watched a Blu-ray in years. Maybe I can remember the last Blu-ray I watched. It was Near Dark. I don't know if you've seen that one, but
I have not.
it's been really nice having the physical copies of these movies, guys. If you are into physical media, it's worth buying the box set for these. Mercedes, do you have any opinions on Cult of Chucky going into this? Did you have any like built up feelings? I feel like you and I had talked maybe more so off mic about this movie.
Yeah, so with this movie, I hadn't watched it ever since it first came out in 2017. So I was only remembering certain scenes and just the fact that I wasn't really big on this movie. There were some scenes that I did like, one in particular, but after that I didn't really care for the movie or cared to rewatch it. So this time around, I'm not gonna lie, I was dreading putting the movie on, but I had a good time with it for the most part. I like the fact that we got a little bit of Andy again. That was my the main part that not the main part, but one of my favorite parts at the end of Curse of Chucky, just bringing Andy back in. I love when they do like full circle stories in films, just bringing back good characters, not the crappy ones. So the fact that he was even just in the intro, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna be going into a good movie, but it had some rocky points. So I'm kind of half and half with this film.
Is it my turn? Can I talk?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. That was very well stated. I echo, I think, everything that you said. This movie, it's, I think, like, if you took it as a standalone movie, I mean, it works. It may be, like, seen as kind of dull a little bit, but uh, conceptually, it works. The insane asylum thing, one location type of horror movie, I usually don't love. Like the movie that I thought of was John Carpenter's The Ward, the last movie that he did. I forgot what year that came out. Maybe like 2007, starring Amber Heard, I think it was. But yeah, I don't really care for the insane asylum thing. But this movie may be. I'm and maybe it's just because of this like Chucky journey we've been on. But I was more favorable towards this one. But it has a lot of dull moments, I guess. But as a Chucky movie, as a continuation to Curse, I I thought it was pretty satisfying. It wasn't better. It didn't up the ante in any kind of special way for me outside of everything it did with Andy. I fucking love Andy in this one, but this one works as a follow up to Curse.
Yeah, it does go hand in hand. Mm, I still want to say for the most part it does, but can we just jump fully into the movie now?
Yeah, let's just dive into it. We can hop right into it. Where did you want to start with it? Did you have any place in mind?
Actually, I want to start at the beginning with Andy because his little date that he went on royally pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
They show Andy, he's on a date, he's trying his best to, woo his date that's there. And you can clearly see that, she's uncomfortable. She's saying that she's basically anti-gun, and he goes on to saying a little bit about himself, but he knows that she did a little research, quote unquote, on him, or quote unquote. And she's just asking him, why didn't you tell me about it? So he replies, whatever he replied, that's not something I just up and say, or I didn't want to scare you away or whatever. But then when he does talk about it a little bit, her face just drops. And then she's like, you know what? This is too much. I can't handle this. Then why the fuck did you go on the date in the first place with Andy Barkley after one, you should have already know his name? and then also after you did your own research on him and then have the fucking nerve to say this is too much, you don't stand up, Annie Barkley. I was so mad about that.
Yeah, that date did kinda go south pretty, like, abruptly. Um,
Yes.
what does he say that really, like, sets her off? Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember word for word. I think he was just talking about, what Chucky did, like all the murders he did.
His teacher getting murdered, his case manager getting murdered.
Yeah, all of them getting murdered.
He lets his, like, quote, unquote, like, "crazy" come out a little bit in front of her.
But this girl probably read all of that, or at least should have, if she was doing all this research on him prior to a date. Like, I don't get me wrong, if you're gonna go on a date with someone and you know that they're on the internet, even if they're not, you can do a background check on them, do all this other shit, just to make sure you're gonna be safe. I completely support that. But she knew ahead of time who this man
Mhm.
was and still agreed to go on that date. Fuck you. You do not do that to Andy Barkley. No.
No, I totally agree, and honestly, like, if you know who he is and his history, you should, like, if you're not into it initially, you should just bail, and uh, or just be someone who's, like, a fan almost, just be like, "Oh, you're that, like, Andy kid, like, what?" Like, I love it, you know?
Right? You could be creepy.
It's like the opposite of idolizing, like, serial killers, you know?
Mhm. Exactly. So, I don't know, I'd be fascinated, like, "Oh my god, you're the one with the killer doll. Can I have your autograph or can you sign my purse or something?" But no, she that was such a crappy date. I felt so bad for him.
One thing I did like about, that intro is the very first shot, reminds me of the Child's Play poster. I don't know if you clocked that, and I don't know if it
Yeah.
was intentional or if my mind was just doing it on its own,
Now
but,
that I think of it, it could have been intentional.
yeah, because it was just like a shot of the fucking, exterior of the restaurant, and it looked like a nice restaurant. Honestly, if you're gonna give him a hard time and, like, get on his case about the whole doll murder thing, why are you letting him take you out to this nice restaurant? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
You're on, like, the 27th floor or something of this restaurant. I've never been to a restaurant on, like, the 3rd floor before.
Right? Where the fuck were they? What does Andy do for a living now? Because
Mhm.
he was willing to take her to this nice ass restaurant. And then you go to his house, which is pretty secluded out in the woods. It's like a cabin. And then you see all of his firearms on display, which I actually thought was pretty cool. Yeah, he just looks comfortable, very well off for a person who grew up in his situation. So I don't know. It just that kept coming to mind. What does Andy do for a living? Because then once you see what he starts doing in that scene, does he really have a lot of time on his hands to do all that?
Do you think he's still in some type of like military forces? Do you think he joined the military? I would like an Andy miniseries, just a mundane like sitcom in the life of Andy from like Child's Play 3 up until, or it could go Child's Play 2 up until this moment, you know? And just like
Mhm.
watching him like try to maintain a normal life and keep it together and slowly prepare. Um, did you mention his cabin? I didn't like quite clock it.
Yeah, I mentioned it. That's where
Okay.
he's
Y-
living, secluded.
Yeah, that's a gripe I have. What the fuck happened to the apartment, Andy? Why do you have an apartment in whatever fucking city? Like, is that like your like PO box basically? It's you
Right.
just get your mail delivered to some apartment. I mean, could make sense. I don't know. Usually, people who live in an apartment have mail delivered to houses, not the other way around.
He has to be in the military or had been in the military to, pay for these fancy ass restaurants, and then two homes or places that he can call home. So, yeah, and then you see him. He even has his what is it? His Kent Academy sweatshirt. He has it
Yeah.
framed. So he had to have been in the military. That probably did stick with him just so he can have some type of family unit to belong to. But he removes that image, that frame, and then you see a safe, and then he pulls out fucking Chucky's head. What did you think of that scene?
Oh, dude, I almost well, I almost
Threw
said
up?
something inappropriate right there. No, I loved it. I was all about it. It was my jam. I was just like, "Fuck yeah, Chucky on ahead." Like we're gonna do some Chucky Hannibal Lecter type of shit where he's just gonna be like not giving Andy advice, but like tormenting Andy. And I appreciated that. I thought that was cool. Like we still have the canonical Chuckster hanging around. He's just a burnt up head, right? Yeah, because that is the Chucky that we've been following from like Child's Play 3 to like being rebuilt by Tiffany, right?
I believe so. I thought it was a cool little dynamic that they had going on. He just places him on his table and he sits there. He starts smoking. And just the little conversation that they're having, even with Andy just letting Chucky take a hit. One, that was funny because he tried to bite his hand when he did and just scare him. But, they have their little
Hmm.
conversation. So you could clearly see,
And he's like, "You want to play a game?"
yeah, and that's just something they do quite frequently. And then Andy starts torching his ass, well, his head, literally. And ugh, that was gross. I don't like seeing like half his face gone. So that was disturbing, but it was so cool just to see them having like a full on conversation.
I really enjoyed that callback to the first Child's Play, the "you want to play a game" type of thing. But to an extent, I'm just like, just kill Chucky. Why you got him hanging around? And not to I mean, did you wanna take this in order? Can I jump, to the end real quick?
No, you could jump to the end.
Not to, like and spoilers for people who haven't seen it, uh, I wonder what Kyle's gonna be doing with Chucky. Like, not to really, like, get ahead to what may or may not be happening in the TV show, but Kyle shows up at the end, and she's like I don't remember what she says. She's like, "Andy sent me here to fuck with you," or something, and you get the idea that she's just gonna take over torturing him now. They don't really have much of a purpose for him.
I thought it was cool that they brought her back in. Yeah, even with Andy just torturing him, probably having all these, conversations with him, things that he wish he could say to him, or just him torturing him because of everything that Chucky has done to his life, to his family, to people that he knows. It's a little old now. And then
Mhm.
even like just to kind of piggyback off of that with another character, Tiffany, they show her, cutting the neck of another person in here with the nail file. Okay, you've done that so many times already. Can you move on? You even bitch to Chucky in Bride of Chucky, he's always stabbing people, but she's always repeating how she kills someone using the same method. She does mention that later, but still that was a little boring too. We need new kills.
Yeah, you really pointed out, I guess, my biggest gripe with this movie is really the we're going to pay homage to everything that came before. And so it's like, cool, you're allowed to do that. If you're doing that, then tell me a story that's like going to wrap this up in some way. And honestly, I feel like this one ends the most open, maybe aside from the last movie. Well, no, the last movie, Andy shooting Chucky in the face, did feel like it was pretty definite. They could have ended it there, but this one felt like it was just like maybe they had a sequel in mind and they just couldn't do it and they took it straight to TV. I heard Don Mancini working on the Hannibal Lecter TV show is why they went straight to TV and is also why there's a Hannibal Lecter getting canceled reference in their Don Mancini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he worked on the show, and that's after, I guess, working on the show, like, this is just what I heard from some YouTubers, so it could be, like, completely full of shit, but he was saying I wish I could credit the dude, I'm sorry, but he was saying, that Don Mancini, after his experience on Hannibal Lecter, he was like, "You know, maybe this is a good route to take Chucky, is TV." But, God, I hate how this is the homage movie, and it just leaves you hanging more than, like, most of these other movies have done.
Yeah, like, they introduced Nika in Curse of Chucky. We all fell in love with Fiona Dourif. Following her in here, I don't know. The characters they have in here, I'm not a big fan of them either. I kind of found one amusing, that guy Malcolm, the ginger guy, who was actually the cop in the previous film.
He was?
Yeah, he was the cop at the end who shows up at the house and
And gets his throat
finds.
slit?
Yeah, that was him.
And he's alive in this one? He's not playing the same actor or same character? It's just the same actor?
Yeah, he's playing someone different, but it's the same actor. And apparently,
He has multiple personality disorder too, that's his deal or something?
yeah, and I found him amusing because when they introduce his character, you think he's pretty normal. He's holding a legit conversation with Nika. They have their little hookup scene, and she doesn't find out until after the fact that yeah, he has, his multiple personality disorder going on. I thought that was a cool little spin on that. So, he was the only one that I actually found memorable in here. Everyone else, they were either annoying or just, a boring side character.
See, it's weird. I felt the opposite. I was so over Malcolm and his horseshit, like, immediately. Oh, man.
What?
Yeah, I like and then when he, like, fakes to be possessed by Chucky, I don't know if, like, he was intentionally faking or, like, what the deal was, but I was like, "God, just kill this guy." But I liked, Claire, and I forgot the girl who had Chucky as, like, a baby doll. I actually felt like those 2 had more going on and more to do than they gave Nika to really do in this movie. They don't really, like, use Nika in interesting ways.
Yeah, the character who had Chucky as a baby, I think her name was Madeline.
That wacko. She fucking tries to smother Chucky, and I was like, "Damn, she definitely killed her baby."
Yep. That was disturbing to watch. Yeah, I get your point. Everyone else, they kind of had a bigger storyline than Nika, or at least more to do in this film than her. Nika's just kind of playing on the sides, just trying to warn everyone that Chucky's there. And even her scenes with the doctor, psychiatrist, whatever he is. Um,
Mhm,
you find out that he's been hypnotizing her, and then basically having his way with her and taking advantage of
mhm.
her. That Wow, that was the one scene that I enjoyed just because Chucky just comes out of nowhere, like, hits him on the head with a glass and says, just that he's shocked by what this guy's doing, like, "Wow, this guy's sick."
Yeah, it seemed like it was just in there for the Chucky joke, because otherwise I, like, found it just unnecessary. I was like, "Why are we doing this, like, sexual assault in a mental institute?" This, like, totally, like, would be it just feels like it's unpleasant for no reason. It doesn't feel like it's the movie for that. I do like Chucky undermining it, though, like, him just being like, "Wow, this guy's sick. I should be taking notes." I was just like,
Mhm,
"Okay, that's cute. I'll give you that." But
mhm.
I didn't I don't like sexual assault in movies if it's like if it doesn't have to do with like the story and character development. If it's, like, just something that happens, I really am just like, "Well, get it out of the movie then. It doesn't belong in here."
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. This one, I was able to, watch it.
Mhm.
Just because he obviously the whole act, is wrong, but the way they have them play it out, it's nothing too overboard to where I felt like I needed to turn away or skip the scene. Yes, he does kiss her, and then he's apparently into, her feet, and that part alone grossed me out because I hate feet.
Oh,
But I could at
yeah.
least watch this compared to, other rape scenes in other movies. That's a different story. But this,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't bother me as much being in the film.
Yeah, it's pretty tame. Just it being in the film, it really, like, put a sour taste in my mouth for that little bit that it was there. But, like, going back to where we talked about in, Bride of Chucky, the, like, Don't Breathe Turkey Baster, it doesn't really go to that level, and the turkey baster in Bride of Chucky, I find that more upsetting. Like, thinking back on it, I'm like, "Guys, like, just the implications behind that are super gross and really, like, creepy and, yeah, upsetting, and, it does, like, have a narrative purpose, and the horror behind what they're doing may be a part of that, and so I will give that a little bit more, like, leeway, but that feels like they could have just done a voodoo chant, and it's like, "Okay, you're pregnant with Chucky's baby."
That that scene that scene I did not care for, and the one scene in here that actually really disgusted me was when Madeline was, tending to Chucky, tending to her baby, and then she starts breastfeeding with Chucky, and she's putting him in the bed, and you could see that she is bleeding. Oh my god, I cringed so bad at that. That to me was just as bad as the turkey baster. Ew.
The bleeding breastfeeding.
Yes. Just that whole
That's not how
act.
it's supposed to be done? That's not how
No,
it's
not at
done?
all. Not at all.
Oh,
Of
I
course
was,
not.
like, taking notes 'cause I was just like, "Oh, I didn't know it's you're supposed to bleed into the baby."
Yeah, that's how the vampires do it.
Oh,
Not the
that's
voodoo way, the
gross.
vampire way.
Vampire babies bite the nipple when they latch? That's upsetting. I
Gross.
don't even
I
wanna think
know.
about that. Uh, why did
Yeah,
you take it there, Mercedes? Why'd you
I
have to
had
bring
to.
up bloody breastfeeding?
Because we've already been there. You brought up the turkey baster. We didn't have to go back into the past. So this is your fault.
I did wanna compare it to the Jennifer Tilly scene, but yeah, so that's Madeline. I know she dies, I can't really remember her death. What she got, uh,
Um
going on?
so so when they buried her baby version of Chucky, he comes back, and then they have a little
Oh,
embrace. Yeah, and I didn't know what the hell he was doing at first because, he has his hand on her lip,
mhm.
and she looks like she's kissing it, but then he's just, sticking his hand all the way in her mouth. And did he remove her tongue or remove her tonsils to put his arm in there to kill her that way? Or ew.
I have no idea what happens because they cut away as it looks like you're about to see. I thought he was going in there to, like, rip her tongue all the way out, but yeah, you just see him, like, shove his hand in there, and it cuts
Mhm.
away, and then next time when they walk in, it's just his hand is in the opposite way, like, the hand part that was reaching in is now sticking out, so you're almost just like, "What the fuck did he do to this woman?" Like, it's probably the most upsetting death in the movie, if not the whole series. It
Mhm.
really, like, fucked with me. I gotta give Don Mancini credit for that one. That was a horrific fucking kill.
Yeah, out of all of the kills in here, That one was the most disturbing. The one that actually made me feel bad. Not really feel bad, but I was just like, "Damn, this guy had it rough," was, the nurse Carlos when all
Mhm.
3 of the Chuckies just gang up on him, stab him, cut him open,
Yeah,
the
I was like, "What did he do?"
Right. He did
It
nothing wrong to anybody,
I
and
was
he
like,
got
"Is
the
this
worst one.
just because he's gay? Like, is Chucky just that hateful?" Like, oh
They
my
needed to
god.
make it equal, apparently.
The worst thing he did was he's like, "Hey, don't think I'm a fan or anything, lady," and it's like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, fuck this lady. Everyone thinks she murdered her family. She sucks." Like, in the public eye.
Yeah, yeah. His death, oh, man, I felt so bad for him. But, yeah, the kills in here, aside from those 2, they weren't the greatest. Also, what I found really disappointing too was they kill off Alice's character. You kind of assume that, she dies at the end of Curse,
Yeah.
like me and you were talking about before, but then they just have Tiffany come in saying, "Yes, I'm her guardian, but oh yeah, she's dead." And you never get like closure on that. They brought her in, but then in Curse, but then they just, they I don't know, I didn't like her ending on that.
You get a glimpse of her in a dream
Mhm,
sequence with, like, Big Chucky, with,
mhm.
Charles Lee Ray actually in the knife. I thought that was a pretty cool dream sequence. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I love the fact that you see, Brad Dourif's eyes in his knife. I thought that was a nice touch.
Mhm. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I dug it. But then Chucky, I think, goes on a monologue where he says that he possessed Alice's body, and he was like, "You can do a lot as a human, but the thing that human bodies get is damaged," or something like that. So the implication is he just fucked up Alice's body so bad throughout, like, all of his shenanigans and just had to bail. And it's like, God, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I just wish that they showed something of that. Like, no, I wasn't a big fan of her character, but and I love the fact that they brought the same actress to reprise her role in that dream sequence. But I wish we got to see what Chucky was saying. They could have done a little flashback of that. I don't know. I would have enjoyed that more if they did it that way. So I found that, very disappointing. Kind of wish we had a little bit of her. And honestly, I wish we had a lot more of Andy in here than what we got.
Yeah, if you're really gonna sideline Nika and, like, not give her much to do, at least, like, make Andy more of a presence. Make Andy the focus, maybe.
Yeah, they could have followed him a little bit more. They did kind of touch back on the first one where they're showing Andy again in his cabin, but he's eating his perfectly looking bowl of cereal in here. I know you like that part.
No, it was trashed. That was a overflowing bowl. He's learned nothing.
He's learned nothing.
He's got guns, but still a terrible, just the living space.
It looked like
It,
what's
it
that
did look
cereal?
very
It,
clean,
it
actually.
looked like tricks, or maybe he got over his fear and was eating the good guy cereal again. Who knows?
It just to toughen himself up. He's like, I need to self torture in order to be
Y
strong.
probably.
Mhm. He seems like he's got it together.
He does. He doesn't seem super traumatized, things don't always trigger him, or they don't seem to trigger him at all, but, when he brings out the little Chucky head and tortures him, he just lets out all of his frustration, and I think that probably is the reason why he seems like he has it all together, because he has some type of an outlet knowing I got the fucker that ruined my life. I got him. He's in my home. He's at my disposal. So that could be why. But I wish we would have gotten more.
Yeah, I agree. He's probably had years of therapy too. Like, man, I wish I could be there for the breakthrough where he was like crying and whatever. Like, he's probably got a therapist that like believes him and is like, or like,
Mhm.
really like just let him be a safe space and let him have a breakthrough. I don't know. I hope that for Andy, especially after how bad Child's Play 3 was. I hope he found a good therapist.
I'm pretty sure he did. Even at the end too, when he's trying to he's headed towards the asylum, he punches the guard, which I thought was lazy writing, and they lock him up, and then he's just waiting for all the events in the asylum to take place so that Chucky can go to him and he can kill this doll too. But it was stupid. Andy shoots Chucky excessively. He did not need to shoot him that many times, but even when he does, this little shit still comes back to life. But then, yeah, at the end, the whole thing was for Chucky to transfer his soul into Nika, which he does, and then they have their little, verbal altercation, and then she just locks him in there, locks Andy in the room. That way it looks like he was the one that killed everyone there. And that's his ending in here. I don't like that. Andy did not deserve that.
Yeah, they really lifted the ending of Ex Machina, and spoilers for Ex Machina if you haven't seen it. Ooh, sorry. Um, but yeah, they really lifted the Ex Machina ending with that one. What do you think about Andy's plant? Yeah, for some reason I forgot his name. I
No,
almost,
it's okay.
because I keep almost calling him Alex, uh, because of his actual name. Um,
Right.
what do you think of Andy's plan though? Like, it's so convoluted for like very little. Ultimately he's just sneaking in a handgun into this insane asylum, but through a Chucky doll that he takes the time to like cut his hair so he can identify the difference, and he knows that this one is going to be possessed. I don't know if like Charles like told him his plan when he was like just ahead back at home, but fucking he brings his own Chucky doll there, and it just counts on that one being the one to go after Andy. And it was like so funny. I think the deciding process, they're like, I get to kill him. Look at me. I get to kill him. Look at me. And the other one's like, hey guys, look at me. And like points to the haircut. And they're like, yeah, you go kill him. You had it the worst. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's kind of funny. But like, Andy, you couldn't have known that that was going to happen, that he was going to be the one to go after you. And like, what if you just couldn't get to him in time or get to that gun in time? That was like a pretty terrible plan. They also just threw him in like fully clothed, so he could have probably just had a gun in his pants or his like
Yeah.
jacket pocket.
Yeah, the way he was just Andy was just just basically filling up Chucky essentially. I was just watching that scene thinking, what the hell is he doing? Is he trying to tickle him? I really thought that's what was going on, and then I finally start hearing all the gross sounds as Andy's shoving his hand, tearing into Chucky's body, into his clothes, essentially into his body to get this damn gun out.
It's really aggressive.
Yeah, so it's like this guy had to have some sharp ass nails to do that. But yeah, that whole plan was kind of high hoping in a way, because if all these Chucky dolls are, coming to life, it wasn't a guarantee that the Chucky that he cut all his hair off was going to be the one to enter into his room or to go find him. He was assuming it, and yes, it did happen, but it wasn't a guarantee. So I don't know. I think anything else could have happened, but that was such a weird ass plan.
It's not a guarantee that he's ever going to come in contact with that doll when he enters inside of there. Both other dolls could get to him first. Security could get to him first. Like, so much could happen. It's such a weird plan. Again, for so little, just a gun with like, I mean, do you have anything to reload it with? Is it just the one clip or whatever? Like,
Right.
it's it's ridiculous, Andy. All these years and this is what you come up with? Like, you're no
Mhm.
brother better than the fucking Breakfast Kid we saw back in 1988.
Leave him alone. He was adorable in there, and he is trying his best. But no, he
He
could
makes
have
me
packed
sick.
he could have packed some extra magazines in there just to make sure he was prepared. I mean, on the way over, he had when he was in his truck driving and on the phone with Jennifer Tilly, he does look in his passenger seat and you see this bag of firearms that he had, so he could have had a few extras, in he could have at least loaded a little more in this Chucky doll. So that was a half-assed plan that he had, honestly.
Yeah, or figure out how to break in through the exterior. Like, you figure out how to come in through the underground maybe. It's, it's so weird. I kind of appreciate it for how dumb it is, though. Only horror movies can get away with this, and only the 7th entry of a horror movie that you a horror franchise you've grown to like can get away with stuff like this. You gotta be kind of forgiving.
You do. I remember when this movie came out, I didn't get to watch it the day of, but I was working at this one coffee shop, and there was a shift lead there who was into horror films too. He watched it and was asking me how I felt about it, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but once I did, we just kept like saying a few scenes from it. But he was so hyped about this movie. He seemed to really, really like this movie.
It's got its fans.
It does, right? I didn't want to bring down, his, hype and enthusiasm for it, but I was just taken back thinking, were we watching the same movie? Because the way you feel about this movie is how I feel about Curse of Chucky. Um, I don't know. I think that one delivered so much more to us compared to this one.
Did this guy not like, Curse of Chucky?
No, he did, but he also loved this one too. So I think he was just, a die-hard Chucky fan to where he was at a point where none of the movies disappointed him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Curse, delivers way more. I we're gonna be ranking the, movies next week, but again, Curse is really I've been thinking about where that one should go, and it's been giving me kind of a pain. Um, I feel like our lists are gonna be pretty close to identical, though, if not, like, have slight differences. Um, I do wanna talk about the Nika scene, where we leave her at. How did you feel about her fate and what happens with her? Because we just lose her completely. We're done with Fiona Dorff, it seems like, at least, like, playing Nika.
Let me hear your thoughts on it first because there is something that I do want to say that about Nika's character with that involves the TV series. So I do want to get into that. But what did you think of that first? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty mixed on it. I thought it was interesting that they would do that to our lead, but end your movie if you're going to do something like that. The movie doesn't like really end. It just kind of like Chucky wins. He gets Nika's body and can like somehow walk. I don't know if like that they know how paralysis works, but changing personalities doesn't give you the ability to walk.
It's the
I know
voodoo. That's
dolls.
why.
Yeah, exactly. You got me there because I was gonna say I know dolls don't have the ability to walk, but for some reason it just feels different. Um, for
Mhm.
someone who's paralyzed,
Yeah, you would think
it
her legs are gonna be so stiff or they might crack or just something, but I guess we just blame it on voodoo again.
yeah, no, she stands up and runs like a full mile before she gets up and meets up with Jennifer Tilly, good old JT. Yeah. What did you think about the way they wrapped that up though? Them leaving and stuff like that. I've given you my thoughts. I didn't really like how it doesn't wrap up. When you initially saw it, before knowing there was going to be a TV show, how did you feel about it?
I was a little disturbed by it only because I'm sitting there thinking, wow, Fiona Dourif is making out with Jennifer Tilly. And I know damn well her dad, Brad Dourif, is on set watching
Hmm.
that.
I kind of
So
loved it. I liked that for both of them. They both got to kiss an attractive lady.
I guess, yeah.
Not to cut you off, I did want to say something I forgot.
What's up?
I loved that it was Fiona Dourif playing her father's character, even if it was just for
Definitely.
a little bit. I appreciated that. I just wish they did something with it. I wish they had an actual ending to the movie.
Yeah, even I was watching Living with Chucky today, and Tiffany was saying that she didn't, or Jennifer Tilly was saying she didn't get to work with Brad a lot. Yeah, they had their little voiceovers and everything, but she never really got to work one on one with him in person. But the fact that Fiona was playing the role of Chucky, when she said, Jennifer Tilly said that when Fiona was walking out, like walking to the car, she was staring at her and thinking, wow, that's Brad. That's literally Brad Dourif. So I thought that
Hmm.
was so cool. They could not have had that any other way, having any other person play Nika's character. But yeah, I thought that was it was so strange to me. Like, wow, they're essentially you have Chucky and Tiffany back together, but it's, a woman making out with another woman. So I don't know. I found it funny, but also disturbing at the same time. And them just leaving, and then you see the Tiffany doll in the back too. You're thinking, okay, well, the cult is getting bigger because we have all these dolls of Chucky, but now we have Tiffany in her own in Jennifer Tilly's body, but then you have Tiffany in the doll too. So their ending for this movie, I was not satisfied with the ending of the movie in general. Just Andy's fate sucked. Them I keep going back with their real names and then their movie names. Um Tiffany and Chucky, them just driving off in the middle of the night. Not happy with that. It was just such a crappy cliffhanger that, I wasn't happy about. I love the fact that they brought Kyle back, but yeah, with Tiffany and Chucky and Nika's character, they left me hanging and I was so mad about that.
There's no way they could have lived up to the fucking wallop that the end of Curse of Chucky gives you.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes you just wish they didn't even attempt to do it, that they just had a normal ending, how all these movies usually have like some form of like an ending.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just really weird to leave this one hanging. I gotta say, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I really see the Brad Dourif resemblance when Fiona does her laugh, especially when she is actually Charles Lee Ray.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
do a lot of Charles Lee Ray talk in this movie too.
They do actually, which surprised me. But yeah, their laughs are very similar. Even in the Living with Chucky documentary, Fiona Dorff laughs at one point, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's her actual laugh. It wasn't like her kind of forcing it to sound similar to her dad's in the movie. She actually does have a similar laugh to him, which I thought was awesome."
One death I want to shout out in this movie that I did quite enjoy. It was a callback to Bride of Chucky, but I feel like they did it better in this one. Was Claire's death when Chucky has the oxygen. What does he say? I forgot what's written on it, but he like reads what's on the canister and then he bangs it and shoots it at some glass, and this glass falls and it decapitates Claire. I didn't love the decapitation. I kind of wish that they just stabbed through her. I think visually it would have been a bit more cooler than the decapitation, but I I dug that character, and it hurt to see her go, but at least she went out in a spectacular fashion.
I did not like her character at all.
You didn't like it? You didn't find her charming? How much she yelled and complained?
No, she was so fucking annoying. The one that I did like was the one that that Claire said she took care of, Angela, the one who would just walk up to everyone and say or ask everyone, "Oh, can you see me? Don't be afraid of me." I don't know why. I
Oh,
loved her.
yeah. And
She was
Chucky
cool.
meets her in the hallway and is like, "I'm a toy from the '80s that's come to life and
Mhm.
blibbity bloop blop." And she's like, "I'm crazy. I'm like
Mhm.
on crazy pills." And then I don't remember what happens to her. Does she die?
She does die. Chucky is trying to go kill Nika, and you see that Nika tried to kill herself when she found out that Alice was dead, and he fucking stitched her hand back up or her wrist back up together. But he goes
Oh,
to
yeah.
Angela and kills her in the same fashion that Nika tried to kill herself. So yeah,
And writes
she died.
Chucky did it in
Yeah,
blood
that part was funny.
to try and frame Nika. I was like, "Damn, Chucky, you sly son of a bitch. It's gonna look like Nika did this." There's
Right.
barely any patients at this fucking hospital. What's the deal? Who's funding this hospital for this big of a place for there to be like 5 people?
Mhm. Um,
One
I
doctor going unchecked, fucking sexually assaulting the patients. It's crazy.
I know there's no other doctor there except them. It's him and then the 2 nurses, that's it. But you have this
Mm.
big ass facility, makes no sense at all. Um, but, I did wanna get into the spoiler of, Nika's character. My god, I can't talk still. In the series. Are you going to watch the series? Because if I say this, it's gonna throw a big part or spoil a huge part for you.
If things shape up for the pod, I would like to watch it for the pod, but there's an off chance that I will watch it on my own. But you can feel free to spoil it. There's a good chance I may forget. I'll try to like tune it out too. I think the listeners would like to hear it. Because I don't know if they're gonna check out the show, but guys, spoilers ahead for the Chucky TV show. It's on Shutter, right? It's a Shutter original.
I think it's sci-fi. Yeah, it's sci-fi. But yeah, so major spoilers because you do follow the story of Nika still being possessed by Chucky, and she's with Jennifer Tilly. They do have a little relationship going on, but then Jennifer or Tiffany, she dismembers Nika. So you're left with her being a fucking nub. And I was so pissed off about that because once I saw that scene, you see the fucking pain in Nika's eyes. Just what the fuck happened to me? Like, she basically had no legs to begin with because, she couldn't feel her legs. But like now she has nothing, and they just end an episode like that. I think that really fucking killed it for me. Not to mention the main characters in there fucking suck, but that part really really killed it for me to the point where I just stopped watching it. It was Nika did not deserve that either. Justice for Andy and justice for Nika.
Is Andy in the TV show?
He is.
Okay, and they're both played by the same actors.
Yeah, they are. So, yes, Andy
Damn.
does get out of the asylum, but watching the film and seeing that his ending, not knowing that they were gonna, continue on with it in the series, that was tragic. And then while they're in the series, ugh, they need more of Andy in there to give him, a better role in there. And then you get a lot more of Nika, but the way they do her is so dirty. I was so disappointed in that show.
I might just end up watching the show is like a comfort watch kind of thing since I've already gotten so much Chucky. I'm at the end of his cinematic story at this point. Like, it would be probably a pretty easy show to throw on and watch since it's a continuation, and I already, like, feel like I have a pretty good understanding of this world. I wanna see more Glenda. You promised me that there would be more Glenda, so, she better look like she does in Seed of Chucky, though.
I'm really happy with the choice they go with for Glenn and Glenda's characters. Um so yeah, I think once they do show them that you'll be happy with it, but I didn't watch anything past when they were in there. That could have been a little past when Nika was dismembered, but yeah, I don't know. The series, it does have some redeeming episodes. Some. The first season was pretty cool, but the second season, it just, no, it started to die out really quick. So I don't know. Give it a chance. You might actually like it a lot. You tripped me out when you came out of left field and said that you loved Seed of Chucky. So I don't know. You might love this series. Who knows?
Yeah, and dude, again, this is a pretty strong franchise. Child's Play 3 is the only bad one, in my opinion.
Hmm.
They're all, like, pretty good to great movies, I'd say. Um, One thing we didn't talk about that I wanna hear your thoughts on is, Chucky's look. What do you think of Chucky's look in this one? Oh, man, if people could see the reaction Mercedes gave me. She pulled out a gun, much like Andy. She ripped a gun out of a Charles doll and held it up to her head and attempted to pull the trigger, but it jammed.
Oh
So
my god. If
Mercedes is
you
still here to podcast with us,
if
luckily.
you had if you had the side button, you could press it like 5 times at this part. I hated it so much. Oh my god. So, when you get the first reveal of Chucky in here, he looks stupid. I actually like the way he looks in Curse more than in here, and
Mhm.
I wasn't the biggest fan of how his, good guy look was in Curse. But in here, it just looks so stupid. And then none of them have the stitched up face except, the head that Andy has. But yeah, all of them, they have the good guy look. His head looks smaller, or his face looks smaller in here. He just looks fucking weird. They don't redeem themselves at all in this film with the way Chucky looks. I was let down. I What do you think? You probably loved it, didn't you?
Uh, I thought the head of Chucky was the best of any of the Chuckies. There's something to the facial expressions of the short-haired Chucky when he was getting ripped apart. I really loved. I thought the
Mhm.
animatronic work on his facial expressions were great. Aside
Mhm.
from that, I think this is the worst look for Chucky that we've gotten so far. And I think even like the animatronic work, not to like criticize the puppeteers or any of the people who worked on it. I just think it looks awkward. It doesn't look as like grounded in reality as I'm used to. Like there is a scene of Chucky's feet running in the Claire moment when she dies. That's pretty normal looking, but when he's walking in the hallway and what was that uh one patient's name who he slits her wrist?
Angela.
Angela. Yeah, Angela. When he's like walking in the hallway and Angela encounters him, his walking is so weird. I like it looks like maybe they just like had a bad day with the puppet that day or something when they were filming it. I'm not too sure. I mean, in terms of you mentioned redemption for the look that he has in Curse. I've really grown to like that look a lot. There's something about like his head shape that I really like. He's a different size. He's got like a sheen to him that he didn't have in the previous movie. And I know like continuity wise, it doesn't make sense why he would look more sleek, but there's something to his look that I really enjoyed it. Very like cartoonish to me. There's some I don't know why. I'm probably an outlier on that, but I'll be the one to defend the Curse of Chucky look. I'll be the one person in the world to defend that look.
So I at least like his look in Curse now compared to how he looks in this film.
Mhm.
And I think when I was watching Living with Chucky, they said that their budget was lower in this one. So they ended up shaving the puppeteers down to three of them, I think.
Was this the lowest budget movie? Because Curse at the time was the lowest budget movie. Curse cost like $5 million, which is like 4 million less than Child's Play cost in 1988 money.
I can't remember the if it was lower in this one, but they did make a point that each film was getting shorter and shorter. You said Curse had was 5 million.
Yeah.
This one was also 5 million. So
Okay. Yeah, that's like the Blumhouse model. They were probably just following that. Like, let's get it done in 5 million, have it one location. One location in the last movie really works. This one, I think it kind of works against it. The Insane Asylum, I mean, yeah, the house, serial killer thing has been done before a bunch. The Insane Asylum just feels so like less interesting. Like the character tropes that come with the patients, like one of them's loud and crazy, one of them is like talking to themselves, one of them treats Chucky as a baby. It feels like just really odd stereotypes and cliches for like this type of horror movie. I know I don't have a lot of comparison points right now.
no, I get it, but I think that if they were able to, I get the budget was low. If they did have a higher budget and they were able to at least go in different areas of the insane asylum, like maybe you see that they have a cemetery, but if they, I don't know, had a basement scene, like an underground tunnel scene, anything else, it could have made this movie a little stronger. Instead, we're reduced to a hallway and a cemetery, and that's pretty much it. So I mean, everyone was still proud of the film, and they all talked about how they did their best. But yeah, Curse was a lot stronger just to be in that one setting, and it had a charming aesthetic to it. This one, because of the fact that they're in an asylum, you would think that it would be multiple settings in there. I don't know, that was a failed attempt in this film.
I don't think I got to talk about this on the last episode, but Don Mancini had mentioned that his sequel ideas after Curse were going to be either an insane asylum movie or Chucky on a Train. And, Chucky on a Train feels like it would have been harder to get Nika in there. I don't know if they do Chucky on a Train in the TV show, but I feel like he should have done fucking Chucky on a Train, done something like that. Whatever his vision was, I like that he kept progressing, like pushing the story forward. Each movie was doing something new. This one feels like it's just doing a kind of lesser version of Curse. It's like a continuation that's trying to give you the same punch at the end, all the reveals. You got Andy back. It like doesn't fully utilize Andy there. You got Nika back. Doesn't really fully utilize Nika. You have Jennifer Tilly coming back at the end, and they want to give you this big surprise. Doesn't really work. It's just a lesser version of Curse. It's not just that to me, but that is one of the things it is to me.
I don't think it would have been a good direction to go on a train either. Spoilers for Scream, what was it, 6?
Wait, I'm gonna take my headphones off. Is this a bad spoiler for Scream?
No, because you see what it is in the trailer.
Okay, if it's in the trailer, you go ahead and spoil it. That's cool. If we like hit Scream for the podcast, that'll be my first time watching any of the sequels.
Really?
Yeah, I've only seen the first one. And
Oh my
I
god.
might have seen the 3rd one because I know Creed is in the 3rd one.
Oh my god. Yeah, we need to cover Scream. I love the Scream franchise. So, yeah, we have to
Yeah,
cover that.
I
Oh my
I'm
god.
excited about that, yeah.
Hell
I'm
fucking yes.
saving it for the podcast. Scream is the franchise I was actually Scream and Friday the 13th are the 2 I was saving for the podcast.
Hell fucking yeah. We are gonna have a ball with that. I love that franchise. Okay, cool. But no, they're in New York and there's a scene when they're on the train and I don't like it. They try to make it, fun for the audience, but it did not go well for me. I was not a fan of that. So I think if they took that route in this film for Cult of Chucky, I probably wouldn't have liked it either. So I think if they were to have just ended the franchise with Curse of Chucky, that would have been great. Their post credit scene, they bring Andy back, he shoots him. That would have been a great fucking ending,
Mhm.
bang up job, but no, they had to try to, go for more a little bit. I don't know if they were under a contract to, spit out another movie, but yeah, if they would have just ended it with Curse, it would have been fine.
I have a feeling enough time passed and Universal probably approached Don Mancini. We're like, what do you got? Let's, there's a new horror business model out there. I don't know how well it worked for Curse, how much money Curse made, but actually, I think Curse might have been straight to DVD. Actually, I think I heard Curse didn't get a theatrical release. I could be wrong
Hmm.
though. Did you see it in theaters?
No, it was straight to DVD.
I mean, it probably had a good life and made a good amount of money on DVD. And then whatever streaming rights, I'm sure Curse made enough money to justify Cult getting made after enough time. And they were probably like, hey, let's just give it another crack. They might have had a contract with Netflix already. I mean, they put 5 million into it. Whatever they sold it to Netflix for it to just live on there, probably paid them back. It's probably just a safe bet to do this. For $5 million for a Chucky movie, it probably makes the money back in a couple of years and even more probably eventually like starts to turn a profit pretty quickly. One thing people don't understand is like even if things don't make a profit initially, they all eventually will make a profit with like the VOD life is like a whole new thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess that there are some fans of Cult of Chucky. Like, what do you guys think? Are you fans of Curse or are you part of the cult? Let us know. Comment on our Instagram, comment on this episode wherever you're listening to it to. What is your ranking of Curse and Cult? Giving them, out of 5 stars, what would you rank both of them? Because I can't remember what you ranked Curse before.
Oh, I put Curse at 4 out of 5 and I put Cult at 3 out of 5. And that's a very generous 3. I think I'm
I was
giving
gonna
Cult
say.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot
very
of
generous.
this whole podcast and all these episodes and everything leading up to it, that's all going into that 3-star journey. Because I'm like, hey, thanks for not ending this with a shitty movie. You didn't really end it, but thanks for making it not a pile of shit. Thank God for not giving us another Child's Play 3.
Yeah, Child's Play 3. Let's never talk about that again.
I do want to say
Yeah.
too, Letterboxd, I saw some very high ratings for this. It's a 2.5 to a 3.5 movie from a lot of people I follow. Someone even gave it 4 stars, but a lot of it is like living in the 3-star range from people I follow. People have seen this one, and while it has a 2.6 on Letterboxd, it seems like the Chucky fans think better of it than what the general audience thinks of it.
I actually can now say I prefer Seed of Chucky over this movie. And I do
Hell
not
yeah.
like Seed of
Hell yeah.
Chucky.
C, C. What's a good chant? Seed of Chucky, seed of Chucky, seed of Chucky. I can hear everybody chanting at home right now.
They're all fist bumping with you right now.
Yeah, everybody's like on board. We've converted Mercedes, even though she didn't say she loves it or is a fan of it. She likes it more than 2 of the entries in this franchise, and at least it's not at the bottom. So let's give her a round of applause.
Oh god. I hate that
I
we've
love it.
come to this point. I hate it. I know you love it, but no.
What, the end of
Yeah.
our mainline Chucky movies?
No, just the fact that I came out and said that because, going into Seed of Chucky, I'm just thinking, even going into part 3, even though I just said, let's not talk about that again. Going into Child's Play 3 and Seed of Chucky, I was just thinking, I do not like these films. These are not going to be enjoyable watches for me. I'm going to do it for the podcast, suck it up. But I knew I was gonna have somewhat of a good time with Child's Play 3, but I hated it at the same time. I'm contradicting myself and I probably sound stupid, but I already knew what I was getting into with Child's Play or no, with Seed of Chucky. And then I couldn't remember how Cult of Chucky was. I just knew I wasn't a fan of it either. So now watching it again, and it being in such close proximity with me watching Seed of Chucky, yes, I could say I like Seed of Chucky more, but I hate the fact that I had to say that.
Man, why do I have a feeling you're gonna put the Child's Play remake above Seed of Chucky? Have you seen that
uh
yet?
I have seen it. I saw snippets of it one time. I didn't like it. Then I think I watched it uh, all the way through another time because Cody Leach, I watched all of his YouTube videos. He, I really hope it's him. He really liked it and he defended it. So I tried watching it. I could kind of see what he liked about it when I watched it again, but I haven't watched it since. So I don't know. I don't have high hopes for that either.
Let's go in with an open mind. I have a feeling we're not gonna like it, but what if we love it? You
You're
know?
probably gonna love it. I could see you liking this one
Oh,
a lot. I really do.
really? I don't really like horror remakes for the most part. I surprisingly liked the Rob Zombie Halloween. Guys, don't kill me. I like the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 even more. Don't kill me. Most remakes outside of that haven't really been a fan of too much. Like the Speak No Evil remake that came out recently, dumb. Didn't like it. Uh glad you guys got to hear that.
I was
um
going to watch that too, but because the trailer it looked okay, and then when I put it on, I instantly turned it off because I got bored.
have you seen the original?
No, but I should.
Oh, dude, watch the original. The original is like fucked up in like so much better ways. The fucking remake is just so conventional and dumb. It really bothers me. Just because people went to see that one who didn't see the remake, and I'm like, okay, this one's just not gonna get seen by these people now, I think. Like, because it's just they went to see the. I know people who are like, I won't see the foreign movie. Give me the American remake, and I'm like, I hate that. It feels like we're catering to that now.
Yeah, I try my best to watch the original if I'm going to watch a remake of a movie. It doesn't always happen, but I do try that. And then if I don't know that there is an original movie that was a foreign film, then I end up watching I try to watch both too, but there are a few times that I didn't know that it was a foreign film originally. I think yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I did like the movie One Missed Call. I knew that was a foreign film. I actually watched that with
Hmm.
my mom a long time ago, and it scared the shit out of me. And then when an American version was coming out, I wasn't happy because I knew they were going to butcher it, and they do. So yeah, I'm on board with you with that.
Have you seen Ringu or did you see Wreck before quarantine?
I did see Wreck before quarantine, so I do love that film too. It's fucking scary as hell.
Mm.
Um, what is Ringo?
The Ring.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
um,
Sorry, I felt like you knew that already for some reason because I used the Ringu poster in our trailer too, but it's kind of hard to make out. There weren't really that many good posters for that movie to use for our trailer.
Yeah, I've seen the posters for it, and I've heard the name. I never knew what it was, and I didn't wanna
Mm.
be stupid and think, "Oh, yeah, it's The Ring," but wow.
Wreck is pretty close to the top of my list for priority movies for this podcast. Like,
Hell yeah.
probably sometime within the end of this year or the beginning of next year, one of my picks will probably be the Wreck trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, but yeah, that's something I'm very interested in doing for the pod.
Yeah, I think it's a trilogy, and I feel like I've only seen the first one. I might have seen the second,
Mhm.
um,
I've
but
seen both the second.
okay, yeah, I only remember the first one. So yeah, I'm excited to cover that. I'm excited to cover that and Scream. I did not know you only
Mhm.
saw the first Scream.
Yeah, so I mean, listeners don't know our schedule yet and how it's mapped out, but you're the next up to pick after what's on our schedule last. So I mean, not saying it has to be Scream, but
Mhm.
it's something you can consider now if you want to do another franchise that you've already seen and you loved. I'm sticking to a lot of ones I haven't seen, but like if you do, like, if you pick the Scream, I would not be opposed to that in any way. It would be another longer one, but I would not be opposed to that in any way.
Okay, I need to look at our list again and see,
Mhm,
because maybe I might want to save that for another season. But
mhm.
yeah,
I know we're doing our rankings next week, but, since we're at the end of this Chucky journey, should we just tell the listeners now what we're doing in 2 weeks?
yeah, fuck it. Let's go on and tell them. That way, they have something to latch onto.
So after next week we're doing the Child's Play remake, and then we're kicking off our next season with All Hallows Eve. We're covering the Terrifier movies.
Let's fucking go, man. I am so excited to do that. I've been really hyped to do that season. So, you said you only saw Terrifier 3, right?
And if you guys check out my other podcasts, These Guys Got Juice, we did a Terrifier 3 review, and I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it's one of the reviews I'm the most proud of, I'd say, from that podcast. I didn't know if I could handle the Terrifier movies, and spoilers for our upcoming Terrifier miniseries. I loved Terrifier 3. So I'm like so excited for this next miniseries. I was excited for Chucky and I'm excited for everything to come after Terrifier. But right now, everything that's on the schedule, Terrifier is the one where I'm like, ooh, I'm so excited to fucking record those episodes, especially because they're not like that plot heavy. So it's just gonna be fun to talk about.
It really fucking is. And I listened to your review on the Terrifier 3 movie when I was just watching reviews for the movie because I had no plans on watching it. But you guys hyped it up, and then one of my buddies hyped it up a lot, and a lot of YouTubers that I follow would not stop hyping it up. So yeah, once I finally did watch it, I was hooked. So I'm pretty fucking excited for it. I hope everyone else has something to look forward to now. I hope you guys have been enjoying the Chucky franchise and all of our episodes and what we think of it. So I'm excited to hear what everyone thinks about the Terrifier movies.
Yeah, I hope you guys are ready to get terrified. Ooh,
I love it.
we've been morbid curiosities.
Let's go.